that's it. And that's it. It looks like I am currently streaming live. Alright, give me a second here, guys. Let me get things settled. It looks like I am currently streaming live. Alright, give me a second here, guys. Let me get things settled. It looks like I am currently streaming live. Alright, give me a second here, guys. Let me get things settled. It looks like I am currently streaming live. Alright, give me a second here. Hey, Joker. How you doing? Oddly enough, I'm not seeing your name in the list. I guess it's just a Twitch stupidity. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be doing this too long. I was hoping just to answer questions that people had. I'm happy to go over that sort of thing. So. Yeah, I hope that's a little bit better. I turned down the music. It might be a little too loud still. You know what? Let me push up the gain. Yeah, this is a new PC, so still trying to get this in place here. Is this a little bit better? Am I cutting out, or what's the status on this? Because yeah, it's a new PC, so I haven't migrated all my settings over yet. Great. Okay, I'm done eating now, so I can probably unmute. I'm trying to remember if you're... I think I remember seeing you in the chat. I think you were just Joker. I guess not. Oh, Smiley Nader? Okay, cool. Oh, 2 days ago. Cool. How's it going so far? It's pretty slow paced initially, but yeah. I presume you're Victualler? Prometor still has plus 843. Jeez. 300%. One away from 300% concentration of people. Oh, you're construction on Prometor? Okay. I'm curious what the prices look like. Oh, I see one. Habits. Carbon will be a good one, right? So let's see. Carbon's gonna be cheap. Oh yeah, dirt cheap. Iron's probably gonna be a little bit more expensive. No, it's alright. It's not terrible. Well, could be better, but... So what you could do... I wouldn't say that. You could buy some FE from Benton if you ever end up going that way, but I don't think you'll need it. What does PE make you again? Let's see, PE, you need carbon and hydrogen. I think hydrogen's cheap in IC1 space, right? Oh yeah, hydrogen's the cheapest. So yeah, you can basically spam PE as much as you want. With the BMP, and it's gonna be super cheap for you. I wonder, like, is the price of PE, like, really cheap out there? I'm curious. Yeah, it's cheap. It's the cheapest. Well, actually, NC1's cheaper. But yeah, what you could... Oh, geez. Never mind. Benton's the cheapest. I suppose that makes sense, but... Is this where the free BBHs are being handed out? Yeah, yeah, totally. What you gotta do, you need to fly to OT 627A here, and there you can get as many BBHs as you want. Totally fine. Yeah, you'll be perfectly set. Never mind that you need to fill your entire cargo hold with FTL each way, but, you know, whatever. Yeah. Welcome to the stream, Bortrar. This is similar to, what is it, Elite Dangerous, where it's the free Anaconda from, what station is it? Hutton Orbital, yeah. If you're not familiar, Hutton Orbital is like it's like a station that is like something like 12 or maybe it's like 8 hours of real-time travel to get there, because it's so far away from. It's similar to Prosperous Universe in that, like, you can jump into the system, but you have to STL fly for like 8 hours to get there. Yeah, most stations are like a couple minutes, if that. But yeah, so you're making BSE and BSA? That's no BSA. What do you... BTA, are you saying? You probably shouldn't make BTA. I don't think it's going to be very profitable. No. It's probably not going to net you much. You're basically selling at half the market maker. Yeah, I wouldn't make the BTA. If you're making PE, what you can do is you make PE for yourself. And then, well, yeah, you can make some overalls as well. Hey, Rento. Basically make some PE, and then you can make BDE with the PE, because PE is dirt cheap for you to make. Like, super dirt cheap. So let's see what it compares. BDE on... No, even that. It's better than BTA, though. Yeah, if you did the math and you did a spreadsheet to figure it out, but yeah, by all means. PE is very cheap for you, though. Just keep that in mind. It's probably the cheapest to make if you buy the inputs. As usual, guys, I'm happy to go over any topic. Hell, I can even... I have been permitted by the devs to have a second account simply for streaming. It's only for testing or showing people the topics in the stream. So I'm happy to like colic that account and start somewhere. Whatever you guys want, whatever's helpful. Hell, if you want me to go over some spreadsheet stuff, I can. Whatever. Got my second base on Nike, now Demos and Nike for PVHBNC. Ship is all over the place and it's inconvenient. Okay, so first things first, I don't know the code for Nike. Is Nike the, okay, it's low pressure limestone, gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so you're on Demos and Nike, and Demos is where? Is that a jump away? Or is that FTL? Or STL? No, it's a jump away. Okay, so... Hey, Elnor. No need to be polite, Rento. So you're having trouble syncing them up. It's hard for me to tell you what it is, Rogerix, without like you giving me some building numbers. But effectively, what you're gonna want to do is, I don't know how many like extractors you have, nor other buildings, so you'll have to give me that information. Rundown on permits, HQ upgrading, anything that should be known. Yeah, Rento. That's pretty simple, actually. If you go to the BS and then click any of the bases, actually, and hit HQ, you basically need to... what you do is you have to contribute building parts to upgrade your HQ. So if you want the details, I mean, I can give you the details here, but basically these are the costs right here. It's I'll put a link in the chat. It's basically pct.finar.net/HQ. And you start with 2 permits, and then every time you level it up, you get an additional permit. And then there's certain levels where you get additional queue slots. So like at level 5, you get 7. So you get 2 additional slots. Level 10, you get 2. Level 13, you get two more, and then you get 3 more at 16, etc., etc., etc. This is just kind of like a nice to have. It's not really required by any means. So what you do is you upgrade them, you'll get a base permit, and then you can use that base permit to either expand an existing base by 250 area up to a maximum of an additional 500, or you start a new planet. You start on a new planet using one of those for 500 area. So there's upsides and downsides to both, right? So you'll see that here it says used area, you know, blah blah blah, and then used permits. It says permits 2 out of 3. What this means is that I can spend up to 3 permits to get 1,000 area, but if I only have 1 permit and settle a new planet, I get 500 area, right? So it's give and take. Like, it's generally more optimal to start on a new planet. However, now that most of the planets, because of the Steam player influx, most of the planets are basically full. Like Promontory, you're never going to be able to settle that, right? Effectively. It's starting to become the new quote-unquote meta that you expand your bases. I mean, you do want to like settle planets that are available, that are good. I mean, like, if Gibson had a slot... Okay, Gibson has 75 available plots. Like, that's a decent option, right? Like, I don't know about Proxion. Proxion has 40. Like, it's going to be... you're going to want to see if you can expand it into a new planet if possible, because that's the most bang for your buck, effectively. Again, it's going to vary. Like, I mean, you might be making serious bank on, you know, Montum, right? To the point where expanding your area there to 1,000 is, like, super worthwhile. But I can't really tell you that for sure because I haven't run the spreadsheets on that. I hope that kind of makes sense. There's also a benefit for if you're not using permits. So, like, you get a multiplier on your HQ bonus. Your HQ bonus is... here, it's depending on where... what faction your headquarters is located on. So, yeah. If there's anything I missed there... The more permits, the lower the bonuses. It is better not to get permission when it is not needed. Oh, being polite? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so what it's basically a formula. You can use the formula here if you want to figure it out. That's all there is to it. All it is it's incentivizing you to not just spend open planets. Or open HQ slots. I'm going to get back to Rento's question after this, is it Rogerix's question. So what that plus 849 means, okay, so when you start a new account, and you're on your first base, you're about to settle a planet. What that means is that you can start on any planet. Yeah, new players can settle anywhere, even on full planets. What the devs added, though, is they added this concept of ghost plots. That's what this plus 849 is. So if, for example... Oh, great. Welcome back to the stream, Gladdy. Basically, yeah, so right now what this means is that there's 422 plus 849 bases on Prometor. And in order for you to settle a second base here, effectively what that means is that there would have to be 850 people that left the planet before you can settle there, if that makes sense. So it's basically, hey, there's 422 plots taken up and an additional 849 that are not visible on the planet right here. So, okay, back to the Nike thing. You have 200 plus LST, so no extractors from now. But 3 PP2. Okay, so let's go back to PP2. So it looks like you probably have way too much LST, that's my guess. I mean, you should be spamming PSC effectively if you want to burn through that limestone. Not only that, BSC's probably got the best profit margins right now. Yeah, I mean, just spam BSC, just keep making BSC to burn through that limestone. The only case where you shouldn't is if you need to build something for yourself, basically. There's also a weird ratio, and this is in source code, but so you can kind of mostly ignore this. Where is this guy? Stats. That's what I'm looking for. So the ratio of PSC. So 4.6. That doesn't make sense. Oh, no, it does. Okay, so BBH is 4.6, BDE is 2.3, BSC is 10.3. So, effectively, what this means is that if you were to figure out the ratio between BSC is 10.3, BDE is 2.3, BBH is 4.6, and BTA is 0.65. So, BSC, what this means is this is basically somebody made a price index, and you can find that price index that I recently fixed. Price indices, let that load. But effectively what that means is that for every, yeah, it's broken data here, but you can see the price index over here. So let's go back to like 10 days or something. So we can see kind of the basic prefab costs based off of arbitrary index. So the most expensive buildings are in Antares space. The cheapest building parts are in Montum, which is no surprise. And consumable costs are the highest in Montum and the cheapest in Hortus. Again, no surprise, right? So, but effectively, what these numbers mean is that for every 0.65 BTA, the average Pioneer building requires 2.3 BDE and 4.6 BBH and 10.3 BSE, which means BSE is the most used part across all the buildings, followed by BBH, followed by BDE, followed by BTA. Obviously, that's going to vary based on like specialties, right? Like, I'm trying to think. PP1. No, BBA. That's probably best there. Let's see. FP. Nope, that's another case that's about the same. Let's go to like extractor. Extractor is BSC. Rig is BSC, and call is also BSC. So basically, the extractor, collector, and rigs shoot the BSC ratio of usage up. So that's the one you want to make the most of. Also because it's the thing you can make the most money on. Yes, I just went on a huge tangent there. I'm sorry. Okay, good. There's a bunch of people here. If anybody wants me to go over very basic topics, happy to do stuff like go over just the UI. Don't hesitate to ask, guys. It's super complicated initially. I get it. All of us do. Rodrix. The problem is consumables and shipping. When one planet is empty, the other is full and vice versa. So the ships constantly burn fuel going back and forth. I mean, that shouldn't be a problem. I mean, that just means that you need to be more consistent with your shipments. I mean, you could stop one side, stop the limestone. You have extra, right? Stop the Nike side for like a day or 12 hours to line it up. But alternatively, what you could do is just get like a 2x order or something, or get a multiplier order to force it to match up. But I mean, that's not really a bad problem to have, to be honest. What do I have to do here? Okay. Anything else, guys? How do I read the financial screens? God damn it, Gladdy. You spelled financial wrong 3 times. Twice. So here's how you do this. So, see this finances right here? Okay. So this finances screen. What you do is you click on screens, you mouse over it, and then you go to the DEL icon, and you click that. That's what you do. There, you read it. And I'll be honest, that's literally my pro tip. Talk 266. How do you so no problem for the videos. Happy to go help people out. To turn off email notifications, you click the notes at the top right. And then there's 2 things at the top right here. There's 2 buttons. There's in-game notification settings and push notification settings. And what you want to do is click the push notification settings button, and there's this default setting at the top. Disable. You can also modify the values as you see fit. Vorchar, I can't tell if you're being serious or not, but if you deleted your base screen, I can help you rebuild it. I mean, not like this usually implies sarcasm, but, you know. Zekdemed. I recently started and was trying to plan ahead for settlers. Do you think it is worth building 1 BMP for consumables, since it can do so many, I presume, things? I do rations and DW production at the moment. Vorchar was a Kappa. Good. There's no harm in having a BMP, but Zek, I have to ask before. Let's see if that's your actual name. It is not. I don't know where you're located, so I can't really give like proper advice there. It can be valuable, but effectively what that means is that you are, for the BMP, you're going to be buying all of your inputs from the exchange, and that very well could be beneficial for you and make sense, but it also could not. Range 66, what is the most complicated thing you're producing right now? Probably rations. Considering I am just making 42 active orders of rations, yes, that's the most complicated right now. As far as what the corporation is making, we're going down the chain of shipbuilding and trying to organize that. It's pretty hectic. We had some people that had to drop out, so we've had to kind of restructure a little bit, but yeah. You are on Prometor, Zek the Mad. So, let's see, Prometor. So Prometor is going to be... So, yeah, so on Prometor, PE is cheap. Also, hydrogen is cheap. Well, let's see. Let's see what BMP requires. So, presumably, you're probably looking at... why am I blind? I guess you're looking at cotton. No. What's the PWO recipe? Okay, let's just do this. It's a lot easier. Alright, so presumably you're going to be using this recipe. Unless cotton's cheap. And, so RCO is bound to be cheap in Prometor space because it's the farming planet and RCO is a farming thing. PE is going to be cheap because carbon, because to make PE, it's carbon and hydrogen, both of which are super cheap in Prometor space. The question I have is cotton, because that might be... Nope, no one's making it. So you're not going to do that. What's PG look like? How does that compare? PG is about average. I mean, yeah, you could make a BMP and just make yourself overalls and PWOs. Oh, did I might have typed it wrong. I might have typed it Zach instead of Zek. Yeah. So you're on Prometor. And you're Moon. But yeah, basically that's not a bad idea if you want to do that. That would make you a little bit more self-sufficient. I don't know if that's necessarily more profitable, like long-term. This is where you would have to, you know, do the spreadsheeting, right? You'd have to figure out, all right, what's the difference between if I made the BMP myself, buying the inputs, buying the consumables to feed my workers, versus just buying it outright from the exchange. And I don't have an answer for that, unfortunately. Yeah. This is where you would just basically have to figure all that out. You know what, Glady, I'm going to, oh, you were thinking because of the PT and EXO? PT requires steel, EXO requires overalls, aluminum, well, hold on. Aluminum and overalls. I wouldn't worry too much, so let's see, I don't think aluminum's going to be in stock. I stand very much corrected. Holy crap. I did not expect to see that. That's more in stock than Benton space. Holy crap. Okay. I mean, yeah, that could work. But again, the problem is it worth the time? Is it cheaper to just buy out the PT? Or, hey, would you make more money just expanding your farms, right? It's hard for me to give you that answer because it's A, going to change over time, and B, you're going to have to run the spreadsheets to figure it out and run all the potential situations out. Glad you want to see how to find a planet to expand to with just in-game tools. Oh man, you're evil. All right, let's see. Okay, I've given up. Let's see if there's a way to do this. Okay, so it's showing pioneer population. I guess that's a good metric, so let's see. Yeah, there's really no good way. I guess the only good way I can potentially see is, like, looking at all the existing local markets to see what's available there. Like, what's this local market? Trinity, right? Okay, can't go there. Let's go to this one. It's low temperature, can't really expand there. Yeah, just start clicking. But really, you should use Planet Search. That reminds me. I need to add the plot counts, available plot counts. See if it's open to the file. What the hell is this music? How is this space music? Like, seriously? Village theme. Okay. Alright. It's playing like, what is it, whatever. Glad he's asking the hard questions. I don't have a good answer for that. Is there anything else, guys? How do I set up a Ponzi scheme in this game? I mean, so the hard bit about actually cheating people out in this game, to be honest, is that everyone that plays this game isn't like susceptible to that sort of thing. Because we're talking about like the people that are super knowledgeable on using spreadsheets, like that's like a lot of people that how to do the analysis of like like the money analysis. So we're talking about people that like aren't really susceptible because they're knowledgeable in that regard. So it's going to be pretty damn hard to set up a Ponzi scheme in this game. I love how people say FiOC is a scheme, but like it's what was it? One of the rumors was like, yeah, they ask you to give away all your money at the start. I'm like, no, that's not how that worked. This was like literally like, hey, listen, I only have 100 currency available. Can you just compare it? Can you give me 500? And they're like, yeah, sure. Glucon, question: when is it reasonable to upgrade into settlers? So it kind of depends. There's no real upgrade path, to be clear, right? All you do is you go to the construct menu, you click on the settlers here, and these are the buildings that use settlers. Some of them also use pioneers, by the way. But these are the buildings that use settlers, so you basically find the right building you want to do and build it, effectively. You also need to build the habitation for the settlers. So in this case, it's HB2, but it depends on what you want to do. Like, I guess, where are you located, Glucon? You are on Valis. So, Valis has a lot of iron ore. Like, I don't know what you would do, on Valis specifically, because Valis is kind of a very, Oh, you're on Antares? Wait, why is your in-game name does not... Your Twitch name matches an existing player? Wait, I'm confused, because it says Moria Valis. How about a pump and dump? Says same cup drink. I mean, you can try. I mean, good luck. Yeah, Glucon, you're gonna have to tell me exactly what planet you're on. Phobos. So, okay, so people that aren't familiar with this knows. Say you have a planet name, it's Phobos, right? Normally PLI, the PLI buffer command requires like something like, you know, ZV896B or something, right? But what you can do is you can just type the PLI command, hit enter, and it becomes a search one. So I can type Phobos, click this guy, and all of a sudden I have the Phobos settings. So silicon ore and iron ore and oxygen. So I mean the silicon's not very useful. Let's see. Yeah, there's really not. So the problem is that what you want to do is you want to find something. Wait, there's only 4. Oh yeah, Phobos is clearing up. Same cup. I mean, by all means, try. Yes, it's not realistic, I guess, because it's a game. I don't know what to tell you. Electronics. But yeah. So it's hard for me to tell you what you should go into because it kind of depends on what you want to go into. Let's see what options that we have, right? Chemical plants, which requires hydrogen. I guess limestone, but there's no limestone here. And you could spam flux, but there's no. Yeah, silicon's super cheap. You could run, so you can run settler electronics on Phobos. What would electronics be? EDM? No. I don't see what you would run. Gladdy, what are you thinking? I mean, I only see EDM, but you would need a PPF to do that. Yeah, I don't actually know what you like. It depends. Like the problem is you need to figure out what you want to make. Oh, you want screens or scanners? Yeah, you would have to get a bunch of PE and copper. I don't know how much that would cost. Same cup drink. Here's how you fraud. Here's the simplest way. Become governor of a planet. All the money from taxes goes to your corporation. So you basically do that, you get yourself elected, and then abruptly set the taxes to maximum, and just don't respond to any messages in-game, and you'll keep all that money. Just keep in mind, you will be blacklisted, and no one will deal with you ever again. So, yes, it'll work, but this is a small community that people will, yeah, blacklist you. I also have a settler question. I was thinking building chem plant, but not building a settler hab, so that would have to, so it would not have to stock settler consumables. Is it just the penalty on chem plant efficiency, or do I get penalized in some other way? So, Zek the Mad, I'm gonna go to the handbook here. The answer is right here, but effectively, you will run the building at a lower efficiency. Just that building. Or just that worker tier, I should say. Gladdy, well done. Warchar, but that's just being a politician. Indeed. I'm still amused by this. What is that, Nova Hanshu? That was not what I wanted to click. Yeah, so... Gladdy, I need to know, if somebody actually started there, and they asked for your advice, did you actually tell them the colic? Because that would be awesome. Longest running official. Alright, I need to see the chat for this. Hold on. Wait, Nova Hanshu's in Sator space? Alright. Oh my gosh, you did say it. Personally, I recommend to colic away from Nova Hanshu and start either Monton or Promotor. Followed by, user has left, user has left, user has left. That's awesome. Well done. Well done. That's it. That's being a good governor right there, because that's like actually good advice. As an aside, I do want to show this off. There's a guy that has been using my API, and he's making a WinForms app, and I think this looks awesome. Like, he's basically making like a trade finder effectively, and this is all using file rest stuff. I just love it. So he's going like, all right, I'm going to buy from NC1 and sell to IC1. What's going to make me the most money? And he's basically doing all this. It's pretty awesome. And you go there and it's sub-only chat. Yes, loop do. Yeah, that's totally... I don't have subs. I don't trust Twitch with my real name, let alone my tax information. New people here. Yes, I'm screwing around here, but I'm happy to answer any questions, even if they're stupid. I can go over just starting from scratch. I can go over the UI in general. I don't know how much more time I have here. We'll see. But yeah, let me know whatever questions you guys have. Happy to go over whatever. This game is super complex initially, if there's any new players. But yeah, happy to go over whatever. How to build a ship. So, like, under normal circumstances, if this was, like, a new player asking that, I'd be like, okay, I'll go over that. But because you're asking it, Gladdy, it's just... Oh, does it really? Now I'm curious. No. There is a CQS on Benton for going for 780,000, 650,000 on Moria. There's a BR1 on an Ant? That's just an... Oh, that is an offer. Okay. Sorry, I misread that. And NC1 space. I love the 100,000 difference on both sides. What we got for engines? We have one offer on Moria. SC1 and AI1, 325k. Yep. Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like, somebody's trying to buy it for 150k. That's adorable, but it's the MM. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually excited about this. I'm liking that there's a bunch of parts on the CXs. Like even this, like that's awesome. Hell yeah. Wow. Just like literally every part. Yep. There's no small STL fuel tank. I guess no one's caring about that. Let's see. Is it large only? LSL maybe? Yep, that's why. But that's awesome. Seriously, that's fucking cool. How likely... Milandu asks, how likely are you to use your idle ships to run shipping contracts from local markets? Right now, shipping is in... like, the number of available shippers is really, really high. Let's see what we got. Yeah, the problem is there's so many new players that there's so many new shippers now that like it's harder to benefit from shipping right now. In theory, if you were to do some of these guys, right, you could probably, if you have one hauler early game that's available, you could basically do this. So basically, you know, let's see what's Ant give us. What's the distance here? You can basically run between Antares and KI 401D. I wonder what this is actually moving. Nope, this one. Okay, it's just moving a bunch of hydrogen. So you could do that a few times. Get a hold of Digging Lake and see if you could be a dedicated hauler for him. Apparently he's paying 15,000 AIC per haul. But effectively what this means is that you have one ship that's just doing this trade route over and over again. And it's not useful. So like once you expand past like 2 planets, like you're gonna need your second ship back, or maybe even if you plan right, maybe you could do it for 3 planets. But the revenue stream is going to be good until until you hit 3 planets, because at that point you're gonna make more money using your ship for yourself, if that makes sense. Would it be reasonable to first expand to another planet and then go into settlers? Yeah, it could. It's totally reasonable. Again, it's going to depend on the scenario. This game is all about it depends, right? And even so, it could change after the fact. Say, for example, like everyone decides to do the same plan you're doing, like 10 people do it, the prices of that product are going to crater, and you're not going to be as profitable. So it all depends. Does running shipment contracts contribute as a major revenue stream? It can early game, like relative to what you're selling normally early game, but as you grow, it's going to be less. It's going to be less significant. Are larger ships more fuel efficient per ton of storage? I don't know. So what you can do, Joker, is you can type BLU. You can make if you make a single, I'll delete this so you can see. I'm going to create new blueprint and click view. This is the default ship. This is your 500 ship. What you could do after that is create another new one and view it, and then make it a giant ship, right? You can go cargo bay, large cargo bay, whatever engine you have, whatever that, blah, 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 large. Okay, save it. And you can do, what you can do is you can bring up this button in the top right. It says Blueprint Flight Simulator. Bring it up for this guy, bring it up for this guy, and let's do Benton to Ant space consistently. Ben to Ant. And I'm sure I'm doing something wrong, but whatever. So assume that inventory is full, and it'll tell you, okay, this uses 330 FTL and 454 STL. I'm gonna put reactor at minimum here. So like you can do the comparison here. You can do the A/B test and see what it is, but it looks like it's slight. In FTL it is more efficient, but in STL it's not, and that might depend on the engine being used. Like I don't know the details. You'd have to play around with it. But from my understanding, there's not many good variations of ships. But yeah. Morning Mango is now following me on Twitch. God damn it. Why do people follow? Morning Mango, you're not even in the chat. Like, whatever. I guess I'll go over a few kind of quote-unquote pro tips here, so people know. Let's say you have... Here, let's do this. This makes more sense. I have this guy over here. So I use this often, right? I use the commodity exchange screen often. But I don't want to waste all this screen real estate on other buffers. What you can do is you can kind of do a hide, like a sliding buffer, or a sliding tile, I should say. And what you do is you create, you split it vertically, you pull it up, do what you need, put it back to the bottom, and hide it. So that's something that is potentially useful for people. I went over the PLI thing. I think I did, yep. Another one that's pretty good if you need like a notepad replacement. You click on com, hit new group. You can type in any name, notepad, hit create. Oh, I just did something stupid. Notepad, hit create. And let's say, okay, I'm going to dock this guy right here. It's a group chat just by myself. So, two things. I can write notes like, hey, like, you know, moron, you need to pick up rat from Benton, right? And I can make myself a note and type enter, blah, blah, blah. And it'll be in the chat room, and then you can delete it later. Alternatively, what you can also do here is, and some people may find this useful, is say I care about the inputs for rat and the price of rat. I can do something like rats, or let's do bean.ci1, nut.ci1, and grain.ci1, then rat.ci1, and drinkingwater.ci1, h2o.ci1, right? So now I have this chat that has the, I think it's the asking price, right? It's the, what price is that actually? It's the requesting price, or the last traded price. So I have a bunch of, hey, at a glance, I can look at this chat room and see bean, nut, grain, rations, drinking water, and H2O go for these prices. And you can just leave it docked forever, because this will auto-update. These values will auto-update. So you can do that. That's a pretty cool tip. What else you can do? Something that I guess this is not so common knowledge is if you have a link to something, so a link being like the location of something, if you have your map open and you mouse over a link, so if I'm mousing over Benton Station here, you're going to see that pulsating blue. It's like right here, right? If I mouse over Benton Station, it's going to pulse. And then, let's see what else. If you find another link to another planet, let's say, okay, Proxion's over here. I'm bouncing over it at the top here. If I click on over here, and I mouse over Prometor, it shows up. Stuff like that. That's pretty useful. What was your starting profession? If you were to start today as a noob, would you change your profession? So, I started as Victualler because, again, I'm in a corporation that is space communists. We don't care about money. We basically trade internally. All of our trades are for, like, one currency. I buy bean, nut, and grain from people for one currency in massive quantities, and then I generate a ton of rations in return and pass those out. I also have 14 extractors on Gibson just pulling iron ore. I have 35 rigs on Etherwind just pulling water. I have 6 rigs on Harmonia right now, and then 20 on Prometor, and basically slowly expanding. So that's what I would do. That's what I'm doing. But if I were to start solo, right? I think right now the best bang for buck is Constructor on Monto. You'd make the most money the fastest there. Basically, you're just going to spit out a ton of BSEs and so on. Starting profession doesn't really matter. I'll mention this. Starting profession doesn't matter after 3 weeks. It really doesn't. The reason I say that is because of this. Handbook, wiki, efficiency factors. So effectively all that it gets you is your buildings, which you can actually just sell off the parts you get for your buildings and trade it out for something else right at the start, and the experts. Okay? And the experts, it takes one building 22.5 days to get the same number of experts. So, like, it's really not a huge deal to just build whatever after the fact. As a matter of fact, most people do pivot into other expertises anyway. I don't... Yeah, as far as... I mean, ultimately, this game doesn't really have a goal. It's do what is fun. And for me, that is handling the crazy-ass logistics of 30 people. That's the thing for FiOC. But I mean, there are people that I know that one is just going all in on hydrogen. That's going solo. I mean, you could do the Prodigy thing where you're trying to... Let's see, what has he got again? Let's actually go to Yapt. Prodigy is doing MG and NE. That's all he's doing. He is basically... he has become the market maker for neon and magnesium. That's what he's doing. eTacos88 just goes all in on rations, and he has Taco Tuesdays occasionally. Like it's whatever you feel like doing to have fun. Don't get too stuck into the whole like what's the most profit, unless that's what interests you to do that min-maxing. I hope that makes sense, Millendew. Just do what's fun. I'll say this, I initially started as... What did I start as? I want to say it's manufacturer. I started as manufacturer because I think that was the most effective starting package if you wanted to go the extractor build. But yeah. How can you know you are having fun if no one is telling you you are having fun? That is the question of the day. That's deep, Vorchar. That's super deep. We're totally not sarcastic here, not at all. I'm going to have to jump off in a bit here, I think. Yep. That was my notification right there. A little longer. Let's see. Welcome back. Windows 11, by the way, is totally growing on me. It really is. So, Mulp officially named my PC Souvlaki. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? I am going to have to jump off in a little bit here. I'm not seeing that as the startup time. I'm not seeing that. It's about the same. At least when I compare my work PCs. Well, what I actually have two. What are they called? M3s? Whatever. Hold on. Let me just get the spec I have. Gotta find my spec. There it is. Um, I haven't built a PC in a while, but basically I have 2 NVMe's, and that is a huge deal. Like, yeah, I think my PC takes like 4 seconds to get to the welcome screen. Like, it's fast. Yeah. Oh, Gladdy, I already did it. This is my current PC right now. I got a 3080 Ti. I managed to get it for 900 bucks. That's ridiculous. But yeah, it's nice. Like, some games are just loading instantly. Dude, spreadsheets? I'm just kidding. Spreadsheets are so fast. Okay, guys, one last time. Any questions? Happy to answer them and go through them. I do have to jump off and get back to some work here. But, oh, there we go. Tim Nanook. Started playing about 2 weeks ago. I'm wondering what direction I want to go once I got enough capital to expand. Any idea on with how I should approach that question? That is a very common question. I don't see your name anywhere. I don't see you in-game. What's your in-game name? Because I need to see where you're located effectively. Or you can just tell me what planet you're on. You're on Valis. Okay, so, what I would do, my initial impression here is what you should do is you should make sure to use all 500. Oh, you're doing prefabs. Okay. Is to use all 500 of your base first before you consider expansion. So all 500 area. What you can do is you have a few options, right? You can go into smelting, potentially, right? To make your own iron for making prefabs. But ultimately what it is it's the answer is it depends, right? It's going to depend on what the prices are of everything. Does it make sense to smelt yourself, right? It might be cheaper to just buy it outright when you take into account consumables to feed the workers, right? Or I should say more specifically that if you didn't smelt and you just bought it outright and you added another PP1, you might make more money that way. So this is like all the things you have to consider and run through a spreadsheet to see what that entails. But my advice is to just focus on your first base first. Don't worry about that. I'm not sure if that's what you mean in terms of expansion, like what to build next and on that first planet. In which case, do the spreadsheets, figure out what's going to make you the most money if that's your goal. But nonetheless, I wouldn't sweat it too much. Like, the difference in profit per day is not going to be as huge a deal. And long term, this game is very slow, so it's not going to be a huge deal. But my advice is to look into smelting to see how feasible that is. I would avoid pulling oxygen or hydrogen or water from Valis if you can. Well, oxygen is kind of on the border, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know what the prices are. Yeah, basically, look into smelting. Potentially also look into BMP. That's a potential option, but I don't think that's going to be a good one. But, yeah, I would build another PP1. Honestly, that's what I would do, because that is the quote-unquote brain-dead solution to this, and that's, I like brain-dead answers. And PP1's probably going to... my guess is PP1 would get you the most bang for buck. Void Lily, I have a basic farming setup on Prometor. with 2 rigs, 1 FP, 1 farm, and I'm not exactly sure what to go from here other than waiting for Rat and TW to build up and sell them for some money. Void Lily, that is the name of the game. Early game, it's going to be very slow. What you basically do is you learn the game, you start planning your next steps, that sort of thing. Figure out what you want to do. Promontor is going to be the farming planet, so there's a few options what you can do, right? You can double down on farms, right? Maybe I think you can probably just do like 2 rigs is going to feed a lot of farms on Promontor, so you can just go crazy with farms next, build up a bunch of farms, and just sell excess crops. Effectively, what you're going to do is you're going to use that one or as few FPs as you can to basically feed your workers, or you can equally bring everything up and do the whole use your own crops to feed your FP to make rations and drinking water to sell to market. But yeah, effectively, early game you do just wait and build it up. I'm curious if your name is actually Void Lily. I think I vaguely remember this name in UFO. It is Void Lily, it's just no underscore. But you're 3 days ago. Yeah, you got some time. Yeah, it's going to be slow early game. It's going to be super slow early game. Mr. Dobalina, promise kept. You checked it out. Cool. Welcome. Void Lily, what you're going to find is what you want to do, you've been letting that setup run for a few days and haven't actually bothered to sell or expand. You're going to want to make sure, I think in 2 more days, you have to go to get your overalls. You should buy PWO. And let's see if coffee's worthwhile in IC1. Coffee is a little bit on the expensive side, but I think that's still reasonable. So you need to get your overalls, PWOs, and coffee to get your workers higher efficiency. So you should do that soon, and then build up your stockpile of consumables. Bring them back. Potentially sell some excess while you're going. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. You did a run. Okay, so you did it for a few weeks. Okay. Well, in which case, yeah, I mean, if you did it for a few weeks, you're just going to have to wait for everything to, you know, get low and then ship out with whatever stuff you have and sell it. But the ultimate thing is you want to, whenever you can, you want to spend your money to get your next building. It's a little hard for your setup, I think. Let's see. Fido, where are you? So, Promontor. What do you got? I presume you have 2 HB1s, 2 rig, 1 FP, 1 farm. What's your, You have 150 pioneers. You can actually build another FP. I don't know if that'd be useful. You can build another farm, I think. Farm is only 50 pioneers, so you'd be a 200-200. So your next bet would be, I would say, to build a second farm. If you can afford it, do it now. That's my suggestion. So, build, Promontor, 1 farm. Would cost you 4 BBH, 4 BSE, and 120 MCG. Do that, and get those parts back to your base. You can wait on that, but effectively, any money that you have sitting in your bank account is money that's not growing. So, just make sure to... Like, being low on money, like, basically around the 2,000 mark, is the sweet spot. Unless you use the local markets more, that sort of thing. Yeah, pro tip, I guess. Use Fido. Okay, Fido is a bot on any of the major Discords. What you do is you direct message Fido. You can type the backtick, which is the button to the left of the number 1 in the top left corner of the US keyboard. And then type help. You can see all the commands. There is build. You specify, so if you do help build, it'll tell you how to use it. You could do stuff like, hey, I need to ship as much of 3 sets of something. Like, okay, let's say you're making BSEs, right? So fits 2 BSE, 2 LST, 1 FE, and it'll tell you the correct ratio. Oh, fit ratio. Sorry. 2 LST, 1 FE. It'll tell you... I need to learn how to type. It'll tell you that the perfect ratio to fill up your ship is 74 LST and 37 FE. You can fit, so you can do fit LST. How much fits on a single hauler? 183 limestone. You can see, alright, space. How much does 50 BBH take up? Takes up 25 tons and 40 meters cubed, right? Like, it's really useful for just various commands, for various math. It even has a math command. 42 times 42 divided by 5. Right? Whatever. It's very helpful. I do love that. Let's see. Deimos oxygen is more than enough. One collector effortlessly supplies 5 smelters with flux. Yep. I think it's close to Valis O rates. Is it? I don't think that's true. That too. Yep. So Valis O is 8.4 and Deimos is 18. That is nowhere near the same. Less than half. Yeah. Right. To elaborate on what Gladdy's saying, like, for example, hey, I want to build on Nike, so I'm going to do build Nike 1 CM to HB1s for farms, because you can build farms on a gaseous planet. And it'll tell you specifically, like, hey, it's going to tell you your workforce consumption, the workforce requirement, how much area you're using, and what the parts are. So feel free to use it, play with it. Also, if you're stuck on Discord and you don't have access to PrUn, and you're like, all right, I wonder how much AEF is right now, you can do CX AEF, and it just pulls the data from file. Stuff like that. Any other questions, guys? I will be jumping off in a moment here if there's no other questions. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for coming. Hopefully it was helpful for some of you. I'll probably do some more of these in the future. Not as frequently, but I'll do a few more. I do have a bunch of videos saved if you want to see like the whole walkthrough of a new startup. I actually have a very slow pace, because I was actually learning as well, spreadsheet setup using FIO data. It was pretty neat. I actually enjoyed that. That video is also there. It's on YouTube as well, because I need to push the YouTube to keep it around, because it only stays around for 3 weeks. But yeah, don't hesitate to ask. Don't be a stranger in the Discords. Don't be a stranger in the game. Everyone's super friendly except for Gladdy. He's a jerk. Yeah, thanks for coming, guys. Appreciate it.